In this week's Actionable Intelligence, we chat with Andrew Everston of C4IS StarNet about how the United States Department of Defense developed a work-from-home platform for its uniformed and civilian employees. With COVID-19 restrictions, the Defense Information Systems Agency really had to get going and make a platform for service members and DoD employees to work from remotely and securely. Where are they right now, Andrew? What can an employee do at this moment?
So the Defense Information Systems Agency, which is the Pentagon's combat IT support agency, rolled out this commercial virtual remote environment platform that is a Microsoft Teams environment that allows the warfighter or civilians and military personnel to use collaboration tools to work from home. So that includes file sharing, video, voice, conferencing. It's been used to accommodate that shift from working in the Pentagon or in the office across the globe to working from home.
Andrew, so it seems that a lot of service members and DoD employees are getting used to working at home just as the rest of us are in the civilian world.
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, the commercial virtual remote environment has more than 1 million users, and it's been so successful that the DoD Chief Information Officer, Dana Deasy, as well as the Chief Information Officers and other top IT officials at all the services have touted the commercial virtual remote platform as one of their, if not their biggest accomplishment in the pandemic. And that is on top of several other efforts that they had to do to accommodate this telework, including increasing network access or bandwidth, access to virtual private networks to improve cybersecurity or ensure cybersecurity in this new work from home threat environment. So overall, it's been a major accomplishment. Usually projects like this will take maybe a year or two, and they were able to roll this out in a matter of weeks.
The world turned around seemingly in the spring from one day to the next, and it seems that the DoD has hit a stride. What did it take for them to hit this particular stride?
It took a lot of work, and they'll tell you that as well. And this is obviously a crisis of such a magnitude that no one really expected, with sending almost all your employees to work from home. In the early days of the pandemic, the Dana Deasy, the Chief Information Officer, had a telework task force that included the likes of Cyber Command, the service CIOs, DISA, and they were meeting daily for, I think they've said, 2 hours a day. They also, DISA specifically, the Defense Information Systems Agency, had to help the USS Mercy and Comfort, the two hospital ships that deployed to Los Angeles and New York City in the early days of the pandemic. They had to help them with expand all their network capacity and make sure that they were ready to operationalize. So I guess there's even things like helping out hospital ships that maybe don't immediately come to mind when you think about COVID-19 response, but that's what they had to do.
Someday soon, hopefully, the pandemic will come to an end, but work from home is a little bit of an option that might be here to stay in the civilian world. Is this something that soldiers and civilians in the DoD might be seeing? What's in the future for them?
Yeah, it's an excellent question, and one I think that the DoD and civilian agencies are wrestling with as well. So the commercial virtual remote environment was initially rolled out as a temporary solution. There were always these concerns at the beginning of the pandemic about employees' productivity falling as they work from home, but it's turned out that has not been the case. So they're looking to actually build out a permanent solution to replace CVR that they're hoping will be prepared in June of next year. So right now, the commercial virtual remote platform allows for non-classified work, but for the permanent solution that they are working to come up with and roll out in June of next year, they are hoping to increase cybersecurity on that platform to allow access to more sensitive data. Work is going to change because of this pandemic, for sure. There's no doubt about that.
Andrew, thank you so much for your time. And now for this week's Defense News headlines. The United States and Australia have a partnership to help them train together in a project touted as the first cyber-only arrangement with an allied nation. Participants can log on from anywhere in the world to train together and rehearse missions on the Persistent Cyber Training Environment, or PCTE. This agreement is valued at $215 million over 6 years and provides the flexibility to develop cyber training capabilities for the future. That's according to U.S. Cyber Command. The state and defense departments have announced that the U.S. sold $175 billion in weapons to foreign partners and allies in fiscal year 2020. That's a 2.8% rise from the previous year's total. The total comes at the end of the Trump administration, which made increasing arms exports a key part of its economic growth platform. While industry will cheer the sales total, William Hardin of the Center for International Policy warned that the total may be questionable, telling Defense News, quote, "The truth is, we do not have reliable figures from the Pentagon or the State Department on how much weaponry the United States delivers each year, and what items have been delivered to what countries. Without this information, it is difficult to fully assess the impact of U.S. arms exports." And also in foreign arms sales, could the United Arab Emirates score an F-35 contract while President Trump is still in office? A top arms sales official says it is. Heidi Grant, the head of the Defense Security Cooperation Agency, acknowledged that such a timeline is logistically feasible, but noted it would likely require quick action from the UAE before the current president's administration ends on January 20th. The UAE is seeking a massive $23.37 billion arms package, which includes up to 50 F-35A fighters worth $10.4 billion, 18 MQ-9B drones worth $2.97 billion, and $10 billion worth of air-to-air and air-to-ground munitions. Lawmakers, primarily Democrats, have expressed opposition to the potential sale, saying it ignores risks to sensitive military technology posed by UAE's ties to Russia and China. And there are concerns about the threat of Israel's military edge in the Middle East. The Senate is set to vote this week on legislation to block the sale. Congress wants to rapidly advance a joint program to develop and field a capability for countering drones, requiring the Pentagon to field a system as early as next fall and adding more than $47 million to field the effort, according to the fiscal year 2021 National Defense Authorization Act. Lawmakers would also like the capability, if practical, to be able to go after larger unmanned systems. The Defense Secretary delegated the Army in November 2019 to lead the effort to take a variety of counter-drone systems, many of which were rooted in urgent needs for Middle Eastern conflicts, and consolidate the capabilities into a select group of interim systems.